all of what we work on today will be, like I said, hands down prerequisites to doing any sort of strength conditioning program. And I don't mean prerequisites as far as like doing it next week. I mean, in general, be able to get into and out of the positions that you need to get into, and we'll go, and then you can build off of that. But quality movement always trumps strength conditioning first. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start with our warm-ups. For those of you who've done the class in the past, we're going to start with those joint circles like we've done in the past. Remember, these are very intentional. They're high intensity. You're trying to create the largest circle you can make. I'm going to demonstrate for you real quick, and then we can get started. So the first one is going to be for the shoulders. We're going to center your hand right in the middle. Scoot back a little bit. You're going to center your hand right underneath the middle of the chest. Keep the core tight here. From here, we're going to elevate the hand up, open up the shoulder here, bring it up overhead and down to the floor. Then we'll reverse it, pick it up. As you can see, my hand opens up for this area, so I'm going through a lot of rotation. From this position, my palm is now up in the air. We're going to bring it down to the floor here. That's going to be our movement. I'll walk you through it step by step. Everybody go ahead and get into position. Like I said, we're going to start with our left hand on the floor. So left hand goes right in the middle of the floor here. Knees are evenly separated here. Arm is going to start down here. We want to create tension in the core so that we don't get a lot of movement from our shoulders. I don't want to see this. I want to see a very rigid position as you just move that ball and socket joint of the shoulder. Okay? So let's go through this together. We're going to do 3. So that's 3 in each direction. Palm up to start. First off, we're going to go step by step. So take this slow. First off, elevate as high as you can. Hold that position there. You're trying to touch your hand to the ceiling. Trying to pull open all this tissue on the front side of the shoulder. From there, take a look at my hand. I'm going to rotate my palm away from me. Now I'm going to start to bring that up over towards my head. Remember, I'm trying to slide this up over top of my body the entire time. Reach up overhead. Reach as far as you can in front of you. Come back down to the floor, tap there. My palm is facing in now. We're going to go into reverse. Elevate it up as high as you can. Turn the palm open. Pull that chest, those pec muscles open. Rotate the palm up towards the ceiling as you elevate back behind you. Bring it down by your pocket and to the floor. There's 1. Got 2 more to go. Remember, this is stuff that you can do on a regular basis to maintain all the mobility and strength you currently have in the joints we're working through. Go ahead and elevate up. Hold right there. Full effort. Remember, we're working as hard as you can to pull this up. This should feel like a tricep workout right now. Open the palm up. Rotate it up overhead as high as you can. Reach out in front of you. You're trying to create length from this hand all the way down to the hip. Reach. Bring it down. Let's go in the reverse. Elevate up as high as you can. Rotate the palm out. Pull through that tissue as you bring it down towards your hip. You turn the palm up towards the ceiling. Bring it in towards your hip. And down towards the floor. 1 more to go. Elevate up. Rotate the palm away. Bring it up overhead. Reach as high as you can. Drop down to the floor. Last one here. Reverse up. Open the palm. Bring it down. Or bring it over towards the hips. Turn the palm up as you do. Back down towards the floor. We're going to switch sides. Right hand is centered. Right underneath that sternum. Right underneath the middle of the chest. Left arm down by your left pocket. Now that you kind of got the motions, we'll go through this one kind of a little faster, but still step by step. From here, elevate, pause right there. I want you to hold that for a moment. Let the tissue on the front side of the shoulder open up. Rotate the palm open. Hold that hand up towards the ceiling as high as you can, as hard as you can without rotating at the torso. Bring it up overhead. Reach out in front of you as high as you can. Come down, touch the floor. Palm should be down at this point. From here, elevate up. Palm turns away. Pull through that tissue as you bring it back towards your back pocket. Turn that palm up. Elevate through here. Slowly bring it down. 2 to go. Bring it up as high as you can. Turn the palm open. Bring it overhead. Reach as far as you can up overhead. Reach, touch the floor. Reverse, elevate up. Turn the palm open. Pull that pec open, turn the palm up. Bring it down nice and easy. Last one, here we go. When we do those rotations too, I want you to think about rotating the hands. If I come up in this position and I rotate open, I want you to think about rotating at the shoulder as hard as you can, like you're twisting something open. You want to use those rotator cuff muscles. The stronger they are, the more stable that joint is, the better it'll be able to move, okay? Elevate up, rotate open, up overhead, reach, down to the floor, reverse, up, pull that torso, or pull that chest open, keep the torso in place, turn the palm up as you bring it towards your midline, and drop it down. Excellent. We're going to go into T-spine rotation here. Knees are wide, half kneeling position here. Knees are wide, feet are tight. From here, rather than the circular one we did the other day, we're going to go in direct rotation, okay? So it's going to be 5 rotations to each direction, but they're very intentional, meaning you're trying to pull yourself to one direction as hard as you possibly can each time. It's slow, okay? Take the arms, cross them here, rotate as far as you can to the right. Rotate, rotate, rotate. While you're in this position, squeeze that left side glute a little bit. You should get a little bit of a pull here potentially across the abdomen as well. Rotate back. And again, rotating as far as you can. Hold. Rotate back. Going to the right. Hold. Going to the left. Rotate as far as you can. Develop your ability to rotate around your spine. Good. Squeezing the glutes will help keep your pelvis in place and therefore your low back in place and get it from the thoracic spine where it's supposed to move. To the right. Back to the left. As hard as you can, as far as you can. You should feel almost like you're going to cramp throughout some of those core muscles. Good. We got 1 to go each, or I'm sorry, 2 more to go each way. Rotate to the right. As far as you can. Back to the left. As far as you possibly can. Back to the right. Last one's here. Pull, pull, pull. Switch. Rotating to the left as far as you possibly can. Good. Nice knees come out of that. So now we're going to go through hip mobility here. We're going to go through some joint circles for the hip as well. For those of you who've done the class before, this will look really familiar. For those of you who can't, I'm going to run you through it right now. So everybody just take a look at me as a little reminder. Hands are cemented to the floor. Left knee is going to be right underneath your hips here. This knee, this right knee, is going to stay at a 90-degree angle the whole time. You're going to try to make the biggest circle you can make with that right knee. Trying to kick it back, off to the side, up and back down again, and then around again, making the largest circle you can without rotating severely at the pelvis, okay? Hands are cemented here. Real quick, just watch me. I'm going to run through the moves real quick. It's up, off to the side, up to the elbow, down to the midline. To the elbow, turn the heel up as you bring the knee in, back down to your starting position. We're going to go a little bit slower than that, but those are the moves. So let's have everybody set up. Hands are cemented to the floor here. Nice stable base. Left knee is directly underneath your belly button here. All your weight is in your left knee. From here, right leg, go up, pause right there. Stay right in this position. I want you to feel that right side glute squeezing as hard as you can get it to squeeze. Hold that position there. Bring it off to the side as high as you possibly can, as hard as you can. You should feel all this tissue here working real hard. Bring it up towards the elbow, keeping it off the ground as high as you can. Back in towards your midline. And reverse, up off to the side. Turn the heel up as you bring the knee towards the midline. And back down. There's 1, we got 2 to go. Remember, very intentional, hard contractions on all the tissue on the outside part of this hip. Learn to use your hips at those outer ranges of motion. Drive it up, heel to the ceiling, squeeze that right side glute. Bring it off to the side as high as you can, up to the elbow, down to your midline. Reverse, elevate up, turn the heel up as you bring the knee in, bring it back down. We have one more to go. Ready? Up, pause. Off to the side, to the elbow, bring it down. Last direction here, up, heel up as the knee comes in, back down to the midline. Beautiful. Switch them around, left side. Okay, right knee is centered, both hands are plastered to the floor here. Ready? 90 degrees at that knee the whole time. Drive it up and pause. Hold that position right there. Feel that left glute squeezing hard. Try to pull open that hip and hip flexor with that glute. Pull it off to the side, up to the elbow, bring it back down. Go in the reverse, elbow, turn the heel up as you bring the knee in, back to the midline. 2 to go. Up, hold, squeeze that glute. Especially if you've been sitting on it all day, really squeeze it hard. Off the side, to the elbow, back in. Reverse, elbow. Turn the heel up as you bring the knee in, back down. Last one, here we go. Up, off to the side, elbow to the elbow, bring it down. Reverse, last one here, up. Turn the heel up as you bring the knee in, squeeze that glute here, and drop it down. Beautiful. Nice and warm. Like I said, you can do those on a regular basis to maintain the mobility and strength you currently have in your hips, spine, and shoulders. Now we're going to work on developing some of that motion so you have a larger range of motion. We're going to go right into our 90-90. Those of you who've taken the class before, you're familiar with it, but we're going to add a little wrinkle in today. We're going to come into and out of this position a little bit, and I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. But first, we're going to go with our left leg first. The left leg is going to lead the way here. So, back up here. 90 degrees at this leg, 90 degrees thigh to thigh, 90 degrees of this trail leg. I'll turn slightly this way so you can see me a little bit better. Good. 90 degrees, 90, 90, 90 here. What we're going to do is we're going to arch our back, rotate our torso towards that lead knee. So I'm going to arch here, rotate towards my left knee, wedging my hand against the floor this way. I'm going to grab underneath this leg here and fold forward, making sure not to fold the spine. It's not this. We're arching, folding, holding this position here. What I'm trying to do is get a good stretch on the outside, like my back pocket of this left leg. I want to try to get a good stretch there. If there's those of you out here who are doing this and you're saying, I don't feel a stretch, you can do one of two things. You can try to manipulate your position a little bit. You can actually elevate this foot, slide something under there. A yoga block works best, but a shoe or a towel works as well. But if you're really hypermobile, then that's good. Just get into position because then we're going to work at your end range of motion to teach you how to use that flexibility properly. Holding this position here, continue to let that tissue relax and release. Stretching nowadays, especially, all the research shows that it is about time, not about coming into and out of it or that dynamic stuff. Pre-exercise or pre-sport probably, but for changing the length of the tissue, nice and slow. So now that I've been in this position, I've got a good stretch in the outside part of this pocket, I'm going to start to push this foot into the floor here. I'm going to do isometric holds, holding this position. What you're going to notice is I create tension throughout this entire limb, but I don't move at all. I'm not pushing hard enough to launch myself back up out of it. I'm staying in this position, driving this foot into the floor. So I want everybody to start to create tension on the outside part of the foot here. Back up a little bit. So you should feel this pressing into the floor. If I was there, if I was at your house right now, if I came around, I would not be able to pick your foot up off the ground. You're driving it into the floor as if you're trying to push both down and to the outside. Holding that position there. Now we're going to go 10 seconds of maximum effort into the ground like you're trying to crush the floor underneath you. I want you to feel like you're leaving a footprint in the floor. Bracing the ground here with both hands. Create a little tension in your abdomen. Okay, the stronger we produce force throughout the body, the stronger this will get. Go ahead and start to drive into the floor with max effort for 10 seconds. Ready? Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, freeze right there. Take a look at me. Take this knee. Try to pick it up off the ground as high as you can, as hard as you can. You can see I'm just getting a little bit of clearance, but that's okay. Everybody hold that leg up in the air. 10, 9, both knee and ankle, but not the hip. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fall back into that stretch one more time. Rotate a little bit further. If you got a good stretch last time, try to get a little deeper. Try to get a little bit more of that stretch. Holding that position there. We're going to go through that round of isometric holds one more time. Everybody doing all right? All right, here we go. Staying in the same position, upright torso, arching the back, tension in the abdomen. Start to drive this foot into the floor. Ready? Go. 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, sit back a little bit if you have to. Pick this leg up off the ground. Now I want you to try to pull your heel up over top of your knee. Try to create rotation here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Excellent. So we're going to stay in this position, but we're going to rotate towards our trail leg. So I'm in this position here, staying at the 90-90. I'm going to stay as upright as I can here in the torso, and I'm going to rotate as far as I can towards this trail leg. So you can see my shoulder plane here. I'm trying to match it. Get that to a true 90. I don't want to be a hypocrite here. Trying to get that to match my shin here. Okay, so getting tall, rotating as far as I can, keeping the knee down. One thing I like to do is I like to take my other leg and kind of pin it down like this. It helps to keep pressure on this knee to keep it in place, but then I wedge against the floor this way with this knee and this hand. For me, at least, it gets a deeper stretch. This is a great stretch because you can feel it in multiple places, right? You feel it in some of the rotators of the hip, but you feel it in the joint capsule if you do it far enough, which can be, for the younger kids, not going to be an issue, but later in the later years it will be. But if any of the adults are participating, the likelihood is you're going to feel this really deep around the joint because there's restrictive connective tissue that's kind of holding that joint in place. You probably haven't gone into internal rotation for a while. So we're going to hold this position. Luckily, I can fill some time with just talking. So. But again, this entire time, nice, slow, deep breaths. We're relaxing in this position. We're just trying to continuously rotate a little bit further each time, right? If you can be in this position, stay in this position. Use your hands, right? Wedge your hands in the ground, create rotation. Hold that position there. Let all this tissue through here. Relax and release. We're going to be using this quite a bit in a minute. For those of you, we're going to do a 90-90 transfer where we switch from one side to the other. Can't do it, it's because of this. This is the limiting factor. You'll see what that means in a minute. Good. So now, just like we did on the other side, we're going to do those isometric holds again. This knee is your access point. Okay, it stays on the ground. It does not produce force. The foot does. Okay, we're going to be driving it down on the floor and then picking it up. So what I want you to do first, because this is a more compromising position, we're going to be very progressive about pushing this foot into the floor. So what I want you to do is slowly start to create force, right? So I'm pushing at maybe 10% of the amount of force I can actually create there. And I'm just hanging out, letting that tissue get used to it, making sure nothing's painful. I'm going to ramp up force to about 40%. A little harder. Go ahead and ramp it up to about 80%, pretty hard. For 10 seconds, I need 100% effort. Ready? Crush the ground. 10. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freeze right there. There's two options here. If you are mobile enough, you can keep this leg, you can keep yourself right where you are, and try to pick that leg up off the ground. If you want to get a little more clearance, like I got a little clearance there, but not that much, bring back to your opposite leg, and then pick that leg up off the ground, okay? So go ahead and get in your position. Elevate that foot as high as you can, as hard as you can, 10 seconds. Here we go, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Let's go back into that stretch one more time. Get upright. Try to get over top of your hips even more. Rotate a little further. Don't cheat like I just did. Keep your knee at a 90-degree angle. Deep breaths. Rotate a little further. Really feeling that good, strong stretch here. So, again, you can feel it at the top of the hip here, that TFL muscle through here, major hip flexor, but also significant implications on rotation. Or you can feel it deeper into and around the joints. Okay, both are fine. It just depends on where you're tight. We're going to work through both of them. So, one more time. Isometric holds both directions. That foot into the ground. Max effort, but ramp it up. Ready? Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it back. Grab the leg here, or if you can stay upright, pick that leg up. Here we go. 10 seconds. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, high as you can, 3, 2, 1. Drop it down, nice and easy. Let's go ahead and switch sides. So now, go back this direction here. We're in the 90-90, going to the right. Okay, right leg is forward, left leg is back behind you. Rotate your torso. Fold forward here. Trying to get a strong stretch in this lead hip, okay? Rotate around till you find it. Feel your tailbone kind of rotating up off the ground. Not lifting off the ground, but rotating. Like you're trying to push it towards the wall behind you. That'll give you a little bit more of a stretch to the side. Remember, it is on the outside part of the right pocket, like your back pocket on your right hip. Once again, you can wedge into the floor here to push yourself forward. You can take this arm here and grab onto that shin. Really pull yourself into that flex position. Once again, staying as upright as we possibly can for the chest. We don't want to see spinal flexion. We want to see you getting all the motion out of that ball and socket joint of this hip. Okay? Starting in this position, holding this position. Couple deep breaths. Just relax as best you can. Those hips open up, long days of sitting around doing a whole lot of nothing. We're going to work them out. Couple more deep breaths here. Okay, from this position, just like we did on the other side, right? We're going to go with isometric holds into the ground here. We're staying in that stretch position. I'm going to slowly start to ramp up force into the ground here. I want you to start to feel the outside part of the right foot start to drive into the floor, right? Remember, we're trying to push both down and out, right? Like you're trying to scoop underneath you. Ramp that up to about 50%. Good tension in this hip. Now, just like we did on the other side, 10 seconds, max effort. Brace the floor, tension in the abdomen, crush the ground. 10, 9, 8, as hard as you can here. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit back if you have to, pulling this entire leg up off the floor, not the hip, the leg. Ready? Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Fold forward one more time. We got one more round each side. Good. So remember on this one, just like we did on the other side, we're going to be pressing into the floor with the foot, but then we're going to try to pull this foot up and over top of the knee, right? We're going to be getting rotation out of that hip joint. Couple deep breaths. Excellent. All All right, let's get after it. Ready? Brace the floor, brace the abdomen like you're going to take a punch. Crush the ground, ramp it up, and go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sit back if you have to. Pull that leg up over top of the knee, like you're trying to get your heel over top of your knee. 10, 9, trying to bring it to my hand. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice, bring it down. So we're going to go into internal rotation on this side. So we're here, rotating, staying as upright as we can, rotating towards that trail leg. Just like I said on the other side. Back up just a bit here. Like I said on the other side, if you want to, you can pin it down or rotate a little further. This particular side, this is a really good one. But otherwise, stay in the 90-90, stay as upright as you can, and rotate as far as you can, holding this position here. The good thing about this is I know we talked about joint capsule. I know we talked about this opening up the joint capsule, but actually some of the external rotators of the hip, even though this is internal rotation, some of the external rotators that you would see in like the 90-90 on the other side, a butterfly stretch, or some of the other glute stretches, this kind of, if it goes far enough, gets all of them because it separates their attachment sites, right? So the muscle attaches from like your sternum, or I'm sorry, your tailbone here, and over to the hip here. We're creating distance there, right? So you're creating strength as well, because if you have usable range of motion, your muscles will fire more efficiently in the smaller range of motions that you typically use, right? It's like doing a half squat versus a full deep squat. Holding that position there. About another 20 seconds. A couple deep breaths. Stay tall. All right, so just like we did on the other side, we're going to hold this position here. What I'm going to have you do is slowly start to put force into the floor here, okay? We're staying upright, we're staying loaded into that hip. Slowly start to create force, maybe 10% here. I'm going to slowly ramp it up to about 40%, just a little bit more. Give me about 80%, so almost max effort, but not quite where you have to clinch. Brace the abdomen, crush the ground. Ready? Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Either stay here and elevate that foot or bring the leg back. Bring your torso back in the other direction and elevate that leg up off the ground as high as you can. Ready? Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Let's get upright again. We're going to go through that one more time. So first get into the stretch. Get upright, rotate, straighten that out there. Woo. That's a good one. Just cranking on the hips. I'm going through this journey with you. My flexibility was so bad when I learned all this stuff. Everybody there was gymnasts and dancers and stuff, and they're all squatting to the floor, and I could barely touch my toes at the time. It's pretty embarrassing. I was the only one. Okay, here we go. 10 seconds each way. Ready? Slowly ramp it up, pushing down into the floor with this left leg. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on back or get into your position. Knee down, heel up as high as you can. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and relax. Stay in that position. Do not come out of that position. Everybody take a look at me. These are the 90-90 transfers that I was talking about earlier. What we're going to do is we're going to transfer from this side to flipping around to the opposite side, ideally without our hands touching the floor. So everybody take a look at me. You're going to reach your hands out in front of you. You're going to clasp them together like this. You're going to slowly pull your knees apart as hard as you can as you go from that 90-90, what's called a bear sit in this position, and then you're going to drop down to a 90-90 the other way. Okay? So I'll transfer back so that we can go together. Okay? We're going to do 4 to each direction. Pull yourself upright the entire time. If you cannot do this, if you feel like you're falling back, just walk your hands along the floor and try to challenge yourself. But remember that the limiting factor is internal rotation of both hips. So if you cannot do this, hammer this stretch. Ready? Hands are off the ground, clasp together, create tension in your upper body. Pull the left knee up as you push the right knee down. Remember, we're trying to separate these as much as you can the whole time. They do not like each other. They do not want to be friends. Good. Opposite way. Pick up the right knee. Good. Slowly drop the right knee down. Excellent. There's 1. 3 to go. Go back to center. Slowly drop the left knee down as you bring the right knee down. Back. Good. You're basically trying to keep your heels in one spot. They can move a little bit, but try to keep them in one spot. Left leg up. Separate them. Oh, jeez. Good. Back. Bring them up. Good. Now this is getting to use all that fresh mobility we just created. If this is super easy for you, then I can show you some stuff to do that'll challenge you. It's basically staying with your hips in one place and just lifting your legs up off the ground. It's very challenging. Let's go back. And relax there. Good. Okay, now we're going to continue working in the hips. For those of you who have taken this class before, we've done this once before. We're going to get into a deep flexion, okay? Right knee is forward. Both hands come inside the knee, and you drive your left hip down towards the floor and towards your opposite heel, okay? So you're rotating a little bit towards that opposite heel. So let me angle this way for you. We're here, rotating like I'm trying to touch my left hip to my right heel. Back up a little bit there. And you're just going to get into this position to start, okay? Driving the hips to the floor, trying to get this hip flexor and this kind of hamstring groin area to open up a bit. This might require, you know, extra padding. So if you're on just carpet or maybe just one yoga mat, try to get either a towel underneath that knee or roll up your mat a few times. Once again, just relaxing here. This is a great stretch to help open up patterns such as your lunge pattern, your squat pattern, all those things. So if you're playing other sports as well, this is a good one for all sports. If you're a parent and you're just training, this is a good way to open up your hips to be able to train more efficiently. So, just like we've been doing, we're going to do some isometric holds. What it's going to look like is you're just going to cross your arms from this position without sitting up, okay? So you're not going to sit back and then cross your arms. You're staying in that flexed position, holding that position, crossing the arms, okay? We're going to do this together. Ready? Put all your weight in that lead foot. Slowly cross the arms. Hold there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Replace the hands on the floor. That should be a pretty good struggle, okay? One thing you don't want to do is people tend to pull backwards and flex, right? So they get into a position like this. Make sure your hips do not pull back and your torso doesn't come up. If you have to come up because you just can't hold that position, that's fine, but just bump up against your capability. If you have to sit back a little bit, this should still be very challenging for you. We're going to go through that round one more time. Chest down, hands on the floor. Slowly cross the arms. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Place the hands down there. Excellent. So while we're in this position, this half kneeling position with the right foot forward, we're going to try one of a couple things, right? We're going to open up this hip and quad here. If you can, you're going to come into this position here. Okay? I'm picking up my foot. Let me rotate this way a bit. I'm rotated, so my right knee is up. I'm rotating my torso to my right. My left hand goes on my right knee, and I'm grabbing this here to help pull my quad open. Okay? If you cannot do that, balance might be the issue, you can open up your stance a little bit, right? So move that foot, your right foot, off to the side of it. Hold that position there. If you still can't do that, then just keep the knee down and drive forward as far as you can. We're going to assume that everybody can get in that position. If you cannot, then when I say to push into your hand here in a second, just imagine squeezing the floor together and then separating it, okay? So we're going to hold here, get that good stretch in the quad, let that quad open up, relax and release. Good. When you're in this position, you can squeeze this downside hip to get a little bit more efficient stretch, holding that position there. So now, just like we've done with everything, we're going to focus on an isometric hold. The hold is going to be pushing into my hand, so my right hand back here is holding my leg. I'm going to clasp onto that thing. I'm not going to let it go anywhere, but I'm going to try to push through it. You know, if I was super strong or if my hand was super weak, my hand would push through it like that, okay? We're not going to let that happen. We're going to grab onto that foot tight, and I want you to use this muscle here to try to straighten your knee. Slowly, though. If you do it really quickly, you'll fall over. So nice and easy. Just create that tension. So now with my hand, I'm trying to pull my heel to my butt, but I'm matching that force with my quad. Holding there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Freeze. Everybody look at me. Pull that heel out of your hand. Slowly let your hand go. Hold that heel in the air. Try to pull it to your butt. Ready? Go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice and easy. Drop down. Beautiful. So that's usually a great opportunity to feel what it's like to cramp based on a neurological positioning issue, not a potassium issue or a water issue, but because your nervous system is not used to going at particular angles, so it'll seize up to help protect the joint, okay? So you might have experienced that there. If so, you're doing great. Left leg's forward. Just like we did on the other side, we can go into that flexion first. Both hands inside this knee. Driving forward here. Okay? You're going to let that left knee kind of fall off to the side. I'll do this, I guess, about here should be okay. Yeah. Let this fall off to the side. I'm going to take this hip and drive it towards that heel. Okay? Really let it sink into this. We're going to get some stretch on the outside part of this hip, potentially in that groin, adductor, hamstring area, and then on the opposite side, hip flexor. You pop that toe up if you can. Remember, this is another position where you might want to double or triple up your surface underneath you if you can. Holding here. Like once again, just letting that tissue relax and release. Getting comfortable. So just like we did on the other side, we're going to put all of our weight in that lead leg. We're going to slowly cross the arm. Do not let the hips pull backwards because your hips want to get over top of that back knee. It's a stable position. Don't let that happen and don't let your chest sit up. Okay? We're going to cross our hands here in 3, 2, 1. Cross them. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Replace them on the floor. Drive them forward. One more time there. Ready? Put all your weight in that lead leg. Cross the arms. Don't move otherwise. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands back down. Excellent. Got one more to go. Okay, just like we did on the other side. Left knee is forward. We're rotating our torso towards that up knee. Grabbing that back foot here. Letting that quad muscle relax and release. Hanging out there. Crank it up, give yourself a good stretch, and squeeze the downside glute a little bit. It'll give you an additional stretch in that hip. 20 seconds to go. Nice deep breaths. Okay, so just like we did on the other side, we're going to do an isometric hold here. The isometric hold is going to start by trying to push your foot through your hand into the floor. This quad's going to be working. Ready? Press into your hand. Feel tension in this hip, in this quad. Holding there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, look at me, slowly let go of that hand, let that hand go. Heel to butt, try to pull your heel up to your butt, ready, go, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly let it down, excellent. All right, everybody, that is all we have for today. Thank you so much for coming. Like I said, like I always say in these classes, if there's anything that you noticed that you were not good at, whether it was a movement both sides or just one side, take what you did today, repeat it, and it'll transfer over to everything you do, whether it's the classes that we do, whether it's your golf game, whether it's just your general workouts, it'll transfer over to better quality of movement, okay?
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Eric. Thanks for everyone to come in. I suggest everyone, the 90-90s that Eric showed, those are huge for golf. I know when I had tight hips, I did those all the time to open up my hips, and just moving throughout the golf swing becomes so much easier.
Right. And when you